Listen to this.
Tested, okay, tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Okay, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So that 10 days is represented a period of time. Okay, a period of time. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, so going back to it, it says what? There are over 800 prison camps in the United States, all fully operational and ready to receive prisoners. Okay? In other words, dissenters. In other words, those who are going to come up against this new world order. All right? And basically that starts with the men of the Lord. Okay? Because not only are we against a so-called new world order, but we're against Esau's existence, which is the existence of wickedness. Okay, we're not trying to join hand in hand. All right, we want to rule. You see, we're not looking for peaceful protests. You see?
All right. You heard that, right? Doc, why are you showing us this? What are you, a conspiracy theorist? I want to tie that into something else. I'm not going to say what he said. But there's a reason why I showed you guys that. I want you guys to listen very, very closely. Especially my brothers and sisters like me that are just out there trying to spread truth, awareness, and trying to encourage people not to bow down and not to cower before the wickedness. I want you guys to hear something.
I'm going to get back to what we were talking about, though, with these camps. They're trying to tell you that they don't exist, that they're not out there. I want to tell you one particular place that I do know of. I'm not going to tell you the officer's name, because eventually it's going to come out. But a year and a half ago, in the town of New Paltz, that's downstate New York, okay? As a matter of fact, I used to be a police officer there, okay? That officer was on patrol. He knows the area very well. He lives in that area. And he saw that there had been a sale of property a while back, quite a large tract of property. He decided to take a look on duty to see what's going on. He saw a lot of heavy equipment that had been taken down through that area, into that area. By the time he got to go and take a look, there was already a fenced-in perimeter. When I say fenced-in, barbed wire, Constantine wire, guard dogs, and people in so-called uniforms with no patches. Okay? Not American people. I'm not afraid to say it because it's the fact and I'll prove it, but we can show that later on. But with Chinese.
Do you guys see where this is going? You see where this is going? You see why I played that first one for you? Now I'm playing somebody that should back up what the first video just said. This guy's running for governor of New York against Herschel, whatever that witch's name is. But listen.
Or what we believe to say, they say Oriental people. This officer spoke with the individual at the gate, very broken English. Tried to say hello, tried to speak up a conversation with him, and did a lot of deflection, the individual did. A lot of deflection. Pretended he didn't know English. We must know enough English to have enough of D5 Caterpillar bulldozers coming in, some big trucks for dump trucks, a lot of soil, a lot of other things going on. So as time went on, this officer went back and told his chief about it. They asked him if he knew about it. Well, yeah, I heard, but I don't really know. Why? What do you know about it? He said, I can tell you. This is what I saw today, and this is what I talked about. Guy wouldn't give me his name or anything. He claimed he didn't understand what I was trying to say to him. But yet, like I said, there's a large fenced-in perimeter. I'm talking hundreds of acres, people. Hundreds of acres, okay? Large fenced-in perimeter, a guard shack, dogs, and people in khaki clothes. Okay? So I spoke to this officer, told me about it, and I said, oh, that doesn't sound too right. Something's weird. I'd be asking questions if I was on patrol too. Not that you're encroaching on somebody's private property. It's your job as a police officer that if something looks suspicious or out of place, to protect the public. That's what you're there for, to protect the public. Well, it wasn't but a few weeks later that officer calls me up and goes, you're not going to believe this. I got called in off the road about a week and a half later, if I had the timeline right, and if I don't, I'll correct that. I come in off the road, and I see a couple of suits, my chief, and I say suits, I don't mean to be derisive, that's a police term we use for the feds. Okay? We call the feds the suits, because they always show up in the suits most of the time. So he gets into the room, and the chief says, hey, you want to grab a seat? And the first thing this person says is, no, not this is for me. And they all laughed. Said, well, it is for you, but you're not in trouble. He said, well, I'll tell you what. You tell me who they are first, and then we'll talk. They identified themselves as the FBI, the ATF, and some other people. He goes, okay, what's this all about? Well, we understand you went out and spoke to some people out that big site out there. What do you know? He goes, what do you know first before I talk to you? Okay? So, the officer knew more than what the agencies knew, what they led to believe people know. Thought that was done and over, we left that alone. Now, I know the sheriff in that county. Good man. And I ran into him at a conference, at our sheriff's conference last month. They had brought in the FBI to come in and talk to us. And the FBI started out with domestic terrorism. Okay.
This is the important part. Domestic terrorism.
Think about domestic terrorism, And who they started talking about? The right-wing patriot groups.
Right-wing patriot groups. Hey, Salty, if you're watching this, buddy, that's true believers like you and me.
Okay? Now I'm going to catch some heat for this tomorrow, and I'm not worried about it. This is why I'm here to talk to you tonight. Okay? Because I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be shut down, put away, or hauled off. And should that happen, it'll probably be on the news. So this individual from the FBI, the head of it, gave their spiel about everything. And then I raised my hand and I said, are you aware of a large camp in the town of New Paltz in Ulster County? And the sheriff that I know over here next to me goes, what? Just like that. I said, yeah, you didn't know there was a large camp in New Paltz? I said, I thought these guys are here to tell you about so-called threats and domestic terrorism and outside terrorist threats. What? I said, yeah, Sheriff. I go, ask him. And first thing they said was, we'll talk about that after this conference, after we're done here. I said, no. I said, well, I think the man has a right to know what's going on in this county. And then he asked me, how come you know so much? And then he found out why I know so much. I won't disclose that right now because I want to keep that individual protected, okay? Upon talking to the feds that day, they admitted, yeah, we know about it. We know about it. We checked it out. Okay. That was it. That was it. Doesn't sound like too much information being told, does it? Now, I'm not saying, I don't worry away down with the news to run out and say, oh, Sheriff Carpenter last night in Utica at a get-together said that there's a concentration camp down in New Paltz, New York. No, I did not say that. I just said that there is a large encampment down there that I'd be concerned with, that should be brought to light. And I'll tell you one other thing that makes your curiosity rise a little bit. Why would a facility like that have 11,000-gallon fuel tanks buried in the ground? Okay? Why would they have the ability to have a large cafeteria, feeding area, and also to raise enough livestock on their property to be sustainable on their own? Just questions that I'd want to know. Sure isn't a YMCA camp, folks, I'll tell you that.
I know a lot of people speak about this all the time, and I know there's been theories and people talking about camps and Walmarts and this type of stuff. But if there was any reason to be nervous about this, I'd say now is the time. It's no longer speculation. It's fact. Who do you think they're going to target first? I mean, after all, Joe Biden's DOJ said that domestic terrorists are now people who, A, question what happened in November of 2020. You know what I mean? And B, you know, the whole beer that we all love from Mexico. Those two things right there are qualifiers to be a domestic terrorist in the eyes of the DOJ, which is absolute garbage. We're being driven off a very messed up road, guys. And you know, it's like when you think something is happening and then you find out for a fact, you're kind of stunned. That's what phase I'm in right now. And I'm pretty sure that I'm on some list, so they're watching my videos, and I know that. Just wait until I say something to incriminate myself. I tell you, I'm a very nonviolent person. However, I think everybody should be educated on what's going on in not only this country, but around the world. Not only that, but who's really calling the shots and running the country. Not only this country, most countries. I think everybody has a right to know. Also, I want to apologize for something. Last week in a live stream, one of you, I apologize, I don't remember who it was, sent me that video on this guy, Noah Harari, whatever his name is. Sorry. This Noah Harari guy. And the horrible things that he was saying. And then I saw Salty do a video on it today. Now, to be fair, in the live stream, that was the first time I ever heard this stuff. That's the first time I ever saw this guy. Like I said, I don't know who to give the credit to for who sent it to me. But we watched it, and if you guys remember correctly in the live stream, I was like, wait a minute, is this guy really saying this crazy shit right now? Am I dreaming? I stopped pinching myself to make sure I was awake. But then Salty did a video on it today. And I was like, wait a minute, Salty, come on, man. You know about this already. And then I went and I looked in the comment section of Salty's video, and I was like, holy shit. A lot of people don't know about this. So that's my bad. I apologize. I keep making this mistake again, and I just assume that everybody knows this stuff. But for those of you that don't know, I'll just play one thing that he said. I'm not going to play too much more than that. It's essentially the same clip Salty played, but there's one part that I want to concentrate on. Watch. Hang on. Okay, full screen. Listen. Oh, now BitChute not going to let me play it. Okay, well, let's refresh this biatch.
This danger can be stated in the form of a simple equation, which I think might be the defining equation of life in the 21st century.
By the way, this is, I'm going to spoil the ending. This guy is sitting here, this is Davos 2020, and he's going to try and make an argument that we don't, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it.
Times C times D equals R, which means biological knowledge multiplied by computing power multiplied by data equals the ability to hack humans, R. If you know enough biology and you have enough computing power and data, you can hack my body and my brain and my life, and you can understand me better than I understand myself. You can know my personality type, my political views, my sexual preferences, my mental weaknesses, my deepest fears and hopes. You know more about me than I know about myself.
Who the fuck would ever want that type of power over another person?
And you can do that not just to me, but to everyone. A system that understands us better than we understand ourselves can predict our feelings and decisions, can manipulate our feelings and decisions, and can ultimately make decisions for us. Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data.
He said many tyrants and governments wanted to do this. Listen to the people that he speaks of.
To hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could.
The Gestapo and the KGB. They wanted to do this, but they couldn't. And what he's saying essentially is, we can do it. Does that make you sleep better at night knowing that guys like this is walking around?
Do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls.
There you go. So that's where you were going with this, huh, motherfucker? We are no longer mysterious souls, and in fact, we could just be hacked. We're no longer mysterious souls. What I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What do you think that's all about? First of all, mysterious souls. There's nothing mysterious about our soul. Our souls were given to us by God when He created us. These people are, and it's not just him, it's everybody. It's Klaus Schwab, it's all of them, man. Bill Gates, you name it. These people are on a crusade to try and erase God from everything, including our, I'm not going to say that word, but just completely erase God. I didn't know I had a mysterious soul. I know I was created. I know somebody put some time and effort into me. I know I have the choice in life and to decide to be whoever I want to be or do whatever I want to do. Yeah, those are choices all given to me by God. Yeah. But there was never anything mysterious about my soul. But these people want you to think that. When you tell people stories of evolution or Big Bang, the only thing that they're trying to do is eliminate the possibility, the idea of there being a God. Because if we just evolved from monkeys or whatever we did, we weren't created by a God. If we just came out of nowhere from some Big Bang, then God doesn't really exist, does He? And these people are attacking us on so many levels. And I'll say this about the hacking part, what he says about hacking people. I'm not going to go into any further detail, but, well, if you guys watch me, you'll know what I'm talking about. Over 1 billion or maybe even billions of people just did it to themselves in the last year. And you know what I'm talking about. You open yourself up to that. Fortunately for me, I am still as God created. Nobody can manipulate my thoughts. The devil could try and influence you. He could try. But just make sure that he's with you at all times, and the devil stands no chance. Ever. Not in a million years. And we all need to be wary of that. So the first video, he said dissenters, dissenters, dissenters. What is a dissenter? Somebody that doesn't go along with a pre-approved script? Well, if that's the case, I will never go along with any script. You could forget it. It won't happen. I won't do it. I stand up and I speak for truth. What is the truth? I don't like lies and I hate liars. Even though I don't listen to rap music anymore, there's a song, wasn't really that popular. This was before 50 Cent got really, really, really famous. But it was a very interesting line in the song, and I want you guys to all think about it. And I want you to apply this to your day-to-day lives. Now, most of you are going to tell me to go fuck myself, especially the people on BitChute. But just think about this. In the song, 50 Cent says, I hate a liar more than I hate a thief. Because a thief is after my salary, but a liar is after my reality. Think about that. All a thief just wants to do is just steal from you. That's it. But a liar could destroy your entire life. I mean, a thief could too, depending on what he stole. But the only thing, the most important thing, is our soul. And nobody could steal that unless they voluntarily give it away. Hence, selling your soul to the devil. And even then, I still don't believe it belongs to him, because our souls will all belong to God. I don't know. Anyway, live stream is going to be tomorrow, guys. I hope that you stop by. I have some, and I'm not blowing this out of proportion. Thanks to COVID, aka Alan, I have some stuff that I want to show you guys. Alan, big shout out to you, man. I had to reserve myself from putting any of that stuff that you sent me into this video. But I appreciate you sending it to me. Tomorrow's Friday. It is going to be a wild live stream, guys. So make sure you're there. It'll be at 9:30 Eastern on YouTube. Dr. Deplorable. For those of you that aren't there already. One other thing I was going to say. Oh, yes, guys, remember. Monday, first hour of the live stream will be held on YouTube. It will. We're not going to talk about anything heavy. We'll just talk about current events, stories of the day, so on and so forth. Nothing that YouTube will have a problem with, in other words. But after that first hour, we are all going to switch over to Patreon. If you're on Patreon, you got nothing to worry about. You won't miss a thing. If you're not, I would advise that you get on Patreon. Okay, I don't like doing this, but guess what I don't like? Censorship. I don't like doing videos and living in fear that I might get cut in the middle of a live stream. I don't like that. So I'm going to stop it. And we'll start that Monday. So make sure you guys are there. For now, good night to all of you. I love you all, even the ones that hate me. I love you anyway. In fact, the ones that hate me, I kind of love you more because I want to inject some love into your life. You guys go get some rest. I'm about to do the same.